Hello, everybody. Welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like. Check us out over on Patreon as well if you would like access to the channel Discord server. With that said, today's video is going to be about Devin Booker and him potentially being traded, and more specifically, where I would really like him to end up. I've kind of had this problem lately where I'm just like so locked into the idea of a player being on one team that when they go somewhere else, it kind of upsets me. I will be very upset if Devin Booker does not end up as a member of the Detroit Pistons, assuming that he does get traded this offseason or whenever he does more or less inevitably get dealt. I would be very shocked if the Suns were capable of building a team around him post Kevin Durant trade that would be enticing enough for him to want to stay there, especially when I believe Devin Booker is like 28 years old. Yeah, he's 28. He turns 29 in October, so right at the start of next season. He's been in the league for a very long time now. I feel like a lot of people, that gets lost on them because he's been in the NBA since like 2015. Yeah, dude. So this is his 10th NBA season. There have been a ton of odds coming out about where he would potentially be shipped off, and as of right now, per Bovada official, whatever that is, I assume it's the sports book. Yeah, the Detroit Pistons are plus 800 with the best odds to land Devin Booker. So the first thing is the fact that that Devin Booker is from, I think, Grand Rapids is where Nick, my co-host of the Shoot Around, R.I.P. the Shoot Around, or momentarily rest, come back later, IP. I don't fucking know what I'm saying. Nick is a big Pistons fan. He's talked about this a lot, and I have kind of just adopted this take because Devin Booker from Michigan is a Detroit Pistons fan, thought he was going to be drafted to Detroit and ended up going to Phoenix. And I think he would also be a perfect second option / kind of 1A, 1B with Cade Cunningham. The Detroit Pistons had a great season this year. They're going to make the playoff. They might even entirely avoid the play-in. In fact, it's looking increasingly likely that that might happen. But all of that said, there is, of course, the long-term view. And while I do believe Jaden Ivey could be very good, I don't think he's really the right type of player to be your secondary option next to Cade. He's obviously far behind where Devin Booker is right now. Even if Devin Booker has had a kind of down year, Devin Booker's version of a down year is still averaging 26 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, shooting 46, 35, 89 from the field. Overall, having a true shooting percentage of 59%, which is just above league average. So that's still considerably better than Jaden Ivey. So you have Jaden Ivey, who's a really good trade chip in this situation. You also have basically all, if not all, of your draft picks going into the future. So I think Detroit has basically the best set of assets to make this deal work. It's also somewhere where I think Devin Booker would be interested in playing because he has had interest there in the past. And the fact that they're a rising team, it's not like he's joining the bandwagon and jumping onto a championship team immediately, but he's joining a team that's on the upswing with the hope to bring that upswing all the way up to eventually being a championship contender. But it's not like I don't think he'll catch flack for being traded to the Pistons. I think people would be insane to suggest that that's like anything resembling like team hopping to a super team situation. They wouldn't be a fucking super team. But if you get Cade and Devin Booker as a backcourt, I typically am not a big fan of the point guard, shooting guard as your star players situation. I think it's far better to diversify your star play across positions, have a ball handler, have a guy who's more of a play finisher and a big man type. I just think that dynamic is better to get more versatility within your offense. But at the end of the day, Cade Cunningham and Devin Booker, you have to deal with one of them all the time, and dealing with them both of them at the same time, not having a good matchup for them. Like the fact that Cade's 6'8", Devin Booker's 6'6", whoever they play at small forward, presumably Asar, if he would not be in this deal, is like 6'8". You have a near 7-foot Duren. Like, this would be a very big team. Devin Booker would bring a good defensive and secondary playmaking dynamic to this. Like, I feel the need to emphasize a lot that Devin Booker is a severely underrated playmaker. He's at 7 assists per game this year, and even I was like, wow, that's a little bit higher than I thought it was, because I knew he averaged 7 last year, but he's officially listed at shooting guard this year, and he's still putting up the same fucking averages. So, yes, Devin Booker, I think he'd be the perfect type of star for them to acquire, because he's not young. Like, he's not going to be a Piston at an all-star level for, like, 8 years, more likely than not, following this. But I think you could get another 5 or 6, and then you pair that with Cade Cunningham, who is making a superstar tier rise, and then you just put the rest of the right pieces around it. I think that the Detroit Pistons, by the time Devin Booker has reached the age of 30 or 31, worst case like 32, we're talking about a true contender, especially in the Eastern Conference. I feel like the Boston Celtics are going to fall apart over the next couple of years, just because Drew Holiday's old, Al Horford is super old, Kristaps Porzingis is super injury prone. Last time he got an injury, it was like one of the rarest lower body injuries that could potentially be found. And then right now he has like an unidentified illness. Like, Porzingis manages to find mystical ways to get out of basketball games. So I do think there is a high odd that the Eastern Conference is fairly wide open in 2-ish seasons. This would also be dependent on how well the Cavaliers maintain over the coming years, which I don't see any reason to believe that they wouldn't still be very much in that conversation. But I think Cade, Book, and then Asar sticking around as a really good defender, really versatile option, really keeping their fast break frequency super high. Then you take that and you allow, maybe you get a better, more well-rounded defensive big man rather than Jalen Duren. Maybe you get a 4 who's got some scoring chops to him. In the short term, that can be Tobias Harris. Keep Malik Beasley as well off of the bench would be great. Like, I'm telling you, there is the foundation of a true championship level team here with those two on the same roster, with Detroit having a good amount of pieces and assets otherwise. So I really, 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 really need this to happen. I need Devin Booker in a Detroit Pistons jersey. It would be so sick. It would make the Pistons have already been one of my most well-liked teams this year, but it's very clear that the system that they have has some serious limitations, just needing Cade Cunningham to dominate the ball, determine the shot creation to the degree that he does. When he sits, the offense can get pretty rough, and the offense still has moments of being pretty damn rough when he's not out there. They're also still not the greatest half-court offense in the world. As of right now, they're like towards the top of the league, if not number 1 in the league in fast break scoring. So that has supplemented a lot of their offense. But someone like Devin Booker would come in there and make their half-court offense go from all right to great, and would still fit in defensively, would bring more on-ball creation. Devin is also like historically a 40% catch and shoot 3-point shooter. The reason his career 3-point percentage leaves a little bit of room to be desired is rather simply just because he takes them off of the dribble and he's not very good at off the dribble threes. So that brings down his percentage. But in terms of the job of playing off ball and just being a spot up catch and shoot guy, Devin Booker can do that job. Not even just a spot up, but like coming off of down screens and things like that, combining off and on ball movement, getting into sets where he creates from there. There are multiple opportunities available. Cade Cunningham is, I don't know what Cade's catch and shoot numbers are. I don't know that they're great. He's also a high volume pull up 3-point shooter, but I think they both have a good enough off ball game. I think we'll have to see a little bit with Cade, just because I don't know if he's quite I don't know if I've seen enough of him as off-ball Cade in the league, just because there hasn't been a ton of opportunity for that. Completely understandable why that's the case, but nevertheless, I'm not 100% confident on Cade, the off-ball player. But I think Devin Booker, the off-ball player, is great, and I think Cade, the on-ball player, is very, very good and only going to continue to get better. And I think this would be a great pairing, on top of the fact that I just love the idea of a hometown hero coming home. That would be very fun. So yeah, this is what I really want the Pistons to do this offseason. This is what I really want the Phoenix Suns to do this offseason. I'm all but certain Kevin Durant will not be suiting up for the Phoenix Suns next year, and to be honest, I really don't think it would make much sense to keep keep Devin Booker if that is the case, because you're probably all you're going to do is middle out, and he'll ask out anyways in a year or two. So get ahead of it, get as much of a good return as you possibly can. Maybe you can reroute, whether it's Durant or Booker. You can find a way to get back some of your own draft picks. Whatever is necessary, make that shit happen, because the Phoenix Suns have already done enough to make me upset. Don't fuck this one up too. All right, that's it.